G'day folks, well in this video I'm going to show you how to solve crazy Saturn, crazy 3x3 Saturn by reduction. Now I haven't had a video on reduction for Saturn at all before this, nor Mars, because I found those two cubes very challenging, and I pretty much only put up stuff that I know how to do myself. I certainly have had a video using a corner circles last approach, and that involved a bit of a corner piece series adaptation and stuff like that, but not a reduction. So this is the first reduction tutorial that I've had. Now, I'm happy to say that I think I've ended up making a method that's pretty simple. So the biggest part of this is the edge flipping problem. So bear with me, I'm going to probably do a few different examples of the last part of it. But essentially, let's get going. The first thing that I want to do is actually just note the faces on Saturn. So the white face and the opposite yellow face are zero faces, and all of these faces in between are one faces. So that's the situation we've got, and the first thing that I'm going to do is get some white circle corners around there, and doesn't really matter how I do that as long as I do it. Where's the other one? Down here. Okay, so this one can go in like that. So I've got these four whites on the top, and I'm now going to call that the bottom, put them over there and start building the white pieces that go with this white circle edge. So really what I want to do is have a white red or a white orange with the red or the orange on the top here, and then if I can turn up a red edge simply, but I can't, so I'll just turn one up using an edge piece series, which is still of course simple. Turn that white red onto it and then flip it over so the white part is on top, like that. So now I've got it white red red, and I'll look at the red face, turn the white up, put that on and put it back, and so that has reduced and placed that first edge. And that's the technique for doing all the white ones. So I'm next going to look for another white one. It's a white green. I want to flip it over so that I've got, in fact I'm going to, it doesn't matter, got two greens there. Flip it over like that, and now place it on the green circle edge, and then flip it over again. And so of course every time I'm flipping I'm just doing down, down, up, up to do that. And now I've got white, green, green, so I turn the circle edge, the white circle edge which is on the green face up, put the remaining part of it on and turn it down. So that one's done. Now if there's no other whites on the top, I'll just put one on the top. So I'll put this one on the top so that orange is at the top, and just to show I don't need to do an edge piece series here, I can turn that up, turn that around to match that one, and just put that back to keep that in position. So now what I want to do is flip it over. That's ready. Turn the circle edge up, turn it on and put it in. And that should leave me one to go, which is the white red. Sorry, it's actually the white. I was looking at that red colour there. It's indeed the white blue. So the blue is on top already, so I can turn that around. And I can actually now flip it onto its face without any trouble, and then just turn it off, turn that up, put it on and put it in. So that has reduced the four white edges. Now the next stage is to, for me, is to reduce and place these four middle layer edges. And basically what we're doing is finding one of them. So let's find this one here, the green orange. And I've got to line it up correctly first. So what I mean by that is in the correct orientation. If I try to turn this down, because we can't, when it's reduced, we can't turn this top face at all. It'll unreduce it. So I need to have it correctly oriented so I can turn it down into position. And you'll notice that if I do that, the orange green is flipped around here. So its correct position is actually here. So that when I turn that down, the green lines up with the green center. So that's the first thing. I've got it correct here. Now I've got to attach this green part to a green edge, which I put here or here. So how do I get a green circle edge there? Well, I've got to locate them first. I can see one that's here. So what I'm going to do is turn that off, turn the green circle edge up, put it on, and then turn this back just to replace the white edges. Now the next thing to do is to move this up to the top face again. In fact, I'll just check if I can do that a little bit easier. I can, so I'm going to turn that up, place it onto its orange edge, and turn the white edge back down to the bottom. Now what I'll find is that I've got that completely reduced edge, and you'll notice that it is in the correct orientation to turn down. So I don't need to turn it there and break that edge. Now that I've got that, I can place it using an edge piece series, and that's done. Of course all the white ones are still there, and that's what I'm trying to do, is keep the stuff that I've already done. Now that's going to break slightly when I do the last layer, but not too much. So next I might look at this one, see a red blue, turn it around to where it needs to go, and that's its correct position so that the red can come down there. So then I see a red circle edge here, which is opposite, which means opposite is fine, because opposite I can get this back to there just by doing a flip to here and then a flip to there, so that's fine. So the red blue part's done. Now I want to, well, I'm going to turn it over first of all. There we go. And because I've flipped it, I know that this is correct, and you can see that it's still correct coming down there. So I've got to have a blue piece here or here. So I'll just look to see what might be the easiest way to do that. Alright, now you can see a blue piece there, so all I'm going to do is turn that up, turn that on, and put it back. And now that is ready to place over here. Now the only issue, and I probably should have thought of this before, I found it much easier to do, if I've done that edge, to do this one or that one. And in the case I've just done, I've actually made the opposite one. So I'm kind of going to destroy what I've done here to a degree and do one of the other ones. So I'm going to go, alright, let's do blue-orange. So we'll line that up first correctly. Let's see if we can get a blue circle edge. Now in fact, this blue circle edge here, I might as well use that one. So you can see that's part done now, and I now want to turn it up to the top face so that the orange is on top. And now I've got to match that with an orange circle edge that's here or here. I'll just see if there's a nice easy one to turn up. That's not possible because that's already in use. However, what I can do is put this here by the following. I can see that this piece and this piece are not in use, so I'm going to set up by turning that around and then think that I want to put this piece to here. So I'm going to turn like that. And when I undo my setup, that orange piece will go where I want it. That then means I can turn the orange blue around, and that is ready to go. And once again, I've now got to place it here. So because I can't use this piece, I'm going to set up and put that out the way and think that I want my orange blue to go here. So I'll flip it over. That's flipped. Undo the setup. The orange blue is in, and that orange green is still in. Now I can come back to the piece that I had already made, which I think was the red blue. So let's get that happening again. Let's first of all get it up to the top and just see which orientation it needs to be in. Turn that around. Okay, so that's its position. Alright, so I need a blue piece here or here. So what I'm going to do is put this blue piece over to here. So I'm going to firstly, let me think. Yep, I'm going to flip that around like that, and the piece I want is over here at the moment. So I think the easiest thing would be to turn that like that, then put that blue back and turn it on. And we'll just check that all the other stuff is still intact, all the white edges, those two that I've done, so that hasn't broken anything there. Now that's reduced, I can go ahead and turn that down with an edge piece series. That leaves me one middle edge to do. And so there it is, green red. Do it in exactly the same fashion. I turn it around and I see that's not only paired up with the green circle edge, but it's actually in the correct orientation there. So the next thing to do is flip it over to put the red on top. I can see there's a red circle edge here. So what I can then do is turn it round to match up with that, and then note that it's got to go here. So again, I'm going to push this out the way with a setup and then flip that over to there. And once that's done, I undo my setup move. That will go into position, and that will go into position, and all of the first two layers of edges have been reduced and placed. Now we come to the interesting part of the edge reduction and placement, and that is the reduction of the last layer edges. And what I'm going to do is go through a few different situations as they come, and we'll see some different examples of how to deal with this each time. Well, in this situation I've got one fully reduced and I've got the other three that are definitely not reduced. So the first thing that I might do is see that I've got a blue circle edge here and a blue outer here. So I'm going to put them opposite, put up my second blue and switch them. And then just to keep this down here and keep the yellows on top, I'll put that back down. Alright, now I'll then just have a look what we've got. We've got the yellow green here and the green red here, the red there. So ideally I'd like to get the red to there perhaps. In fact, looking at the fact that I've got three to cycle, what I'm going to do is put this one over here for starters, and I'm then going to put this one to here. And I'm going to have a look and see that the red can go there, the green can go here, the yellow can go here. So that will mean I'll need to carry out a mirror sune, like so. Now let's go and put these pieces back to see what's going on. Where is the orange blue? Ah, it's over here. And the orange, or the blue red's got to go here, so I'm going to flip them around. Okay, now that brings all of these back, and we've got the edges reduced, and I've got these two at the front here which need to be flipped in order to be cycled around, and that's good. So as long as I've got two edges adjacent to each other that need to be flipped, that's very simple to do. Turn the inner slice firstly to have this as a one face, and then carry out a sune. And of course turn that inner slice back, and what we've got is all the yellows reduced and on top. We now check to see how they need to cycle. We've put a blue into its place, and then I've got green to red to orange, so we'll finish that off with a sune. And we have all of our edges reduced and in place. Well, in this situation, the first thing that I would probably do is flip this around to there, and then have a look at what's going on. And from here I can get the blue across to here, so I'm just going to move another orange up to the top, put that on, move that back down, and now put the middle layer edge back in the middle layer. Now at this point I'm noting that I've got the orange there which I'd really like to take care of if I can, so I'm going to flip this one over to there. That puts a red up, so I'll put another red up, do the turn, and then put down the middle layer edge. Where does that leave us? We've got one that's done. I might take care of this one next if I can, which means, well, it means really I could in fact carry out a bit of a sune here, get that going to there, get the red onto there, and the yellow will come back to here, so that's okay, so I'll do that. So that's the second one done along with that. What have we got left? In fact, that's the third one done. That leaves us that. Now that's really no big deal at all when we have a situation like this. So what we need to do, we've got that one there, we've got another yellow, and we're now going to put this yellow over here so that we have these two yellows. So the first thing we want to do is move this onto a yellow piece. So we'll just sune that around like that. Then we'll see that we've got the yellow-green that's attached itself there, and over here we can now easily see that if we flip this opposite it, the green-yellow will be there. So that's why that situation is a good one. And we've landed with two blues here, so we can do the flip. That's reduced all the edges, and we now need to get any middle layer edges back. So all my white edges are there, so I'm going to put this one down first. I'm going to put this blue red down, and that's got to replace the yellow red, or the yellow orange, sorry. No, it was yellow red. Now all of my yellows are on top. None of them are flipped, but I noticed that my middle layers are not yet in properly, so I'm going to place them first. And what's next? I've got the blue red that's got to go here, and I've got a green red. So probably what I'll do is this to here, this to here, this to here, like that. And that will then leave me the blue orange over this side, and I can put that in by setting it up like that. And I know that I haven't flipped any middle layer edges, so they all go in perfectly. Now I can look and see what's going on in the yellows, and these two here need to flip. That's easily done using a sune with the middle slice turning on the first and last turns. And that puts all the yellows on top, and I now just check to see what's going on. I've got the yellow red in position, and what have we got? The orange goes to the green, goes to the blue, so this is a nice little left hand sune to finish things off. And that leaves us with all edges reduced and placed. So in this situation I've got one that's already done. So I'm going to see here the red outer going with the red inner. That's fairly obvious straight away, so I'll do that. And I already had these two yellows, so I didn't have to put anything else up. Next thing is that, what have we got? We've got the orange inner here, so I'm going to flip this one over and bring these two together. Now I've put an orange up here, so I want to put a matching one there, do the swap and put that back down. And now this is a middle layer edge, so I'm always looking to put that back into the middle layer. Exactly where it belongs is not that important, just as long as it's into the middle layer. And what have we got now? We've got the yellow blue here and the blue yellow. So I need to get these so that they can somehow swap or cycle around. So what I'm going to do is flip this over to here first of all, and I'll come around to this one and flip this over to here, and we'll have a look and see what we've got. We've got a spare yellow here that I can use, so just turning it in line for a sune, and I can see that it's got to go that way to place these last pieces. And that has completed reducing all the edges, but I still need to go now and put these middle ones back. So let's first get the white ones back, put the orange blue into its position. We'll next do the orange green. What's next? Just the red green, and that is over there. So put that back. That puts all the middle layer edges back. And on this occasion all of these yellow ones are on top, so I can just look and see how they need to go. Give it a twist, and now it's quite clear that we've got to do a sune this way. And having done that, we can see that all edges are reduced and placed. With this one, I guess I'd probably, I would like to get the yellow and green and the green yellow, but they're not positioned nicely. Neither are the yellow orange and the red orange, so probably then I would look to flip this over to here and then do a sune with these ones as a first step, just to involve the greens there. So a normal sune. That at least takes care of that. And it's already got that one as well. I'd put this back down in the middle layer. Then I'd note that I've got an orange-red here, and I've got the red-orange, so I can flip that red-orange over to the other side. That brings a red up. Use another one. Put that back down. Whoop, put the middle layer back down. And before I proceed, I want to get these middle layers in properly. So all of this, of course, is just edge piece series stuff. And get the blue-red in finally. So all the middle layers are back. Now I'd have a look at what's on top. And this, in fact, is the hardest situation that I've found with this sort of thing. It's just not possible to proceed normally when we've got two that are opposite each other that aren't right. So the thing that I've found that works is to give it one twist. Simple as that, one twist. And I then want to just choose arbitrarily, say that one there, yellow-red. I'm going to get this and I'm going to flip that over and to make it opposite, like that. And I've seen that I've put a red up, I'll put another red up, I'll do the swap. So the key thing there was the single twist. Now, having done that, let's have a look what happens now. I can see that I can carry out some sort of sune here, and so I'll do that. Take the yellow over to here, the blue to here, and this yellow back to there. And that will leave me with the yellow-red in that position, that done, and then this, which can be flipped over to there. And again, I bring a red up there, so I'll bring another red up, do the swap, and now comes the part where I put my middle layer edges back into their positions, and I'll see what we've got. At the end of this, either you're going to get two that are next to each other, or all four that are like this. And either one of those options is okay. It just means that if we've got all four, we're going to do this twice. The two that need flipping, we'll put in these positions here, carry out a sune, but involve the middle slice on first and last turns. And that'll flip those two, so we'll just give it another turn, do the same with these two. And that's really the goal, is to get all those yellow ones on top, because once we have that, we can do whatever we need to do, give it a twist and see what's going on. So I've put the yellow-red into position, and I can now see that a simple sune will take care of those ones. So all of those edges are back into position. All of the yellow ones, you can see, are reduced and placed. And that probably, as I say, is the hardest situation you'll come across, and that completes this section of reducing and placing these last layer edges. Now, with all the edges reduced, what remains now is to do the corners, to reduce the corners before we start placing things. So I'm going to reduce the corners by using the yellow face here, and the same sort of way I do it with a Jupiter solve. I want to be turning this face to reduce corners like that. So I want to be a little bit smarter about it. I've got a red going to a red inner, an orange going to an orange inner. I've then got a red. I'd like that to go to a red inner if I can. And I can achieve that by rotating this corner anti-clockwise, which will put a red inner there, and it'll put a yellow outer there, which will then match with that yellow inner. So all I need to do here is two edge piece series, like that, which will rotate that corner around. It'll also do stuff down here, but that's okay, we'll put that back at the end. Turn my face to reduce those sections of corners, and then I can carry out another one of them in the same direction to replace those edges. That will then leave me with an orange white. So I'll look around here and look for perhaps an orange inner somewhere, and if I can't find an orange inner next to it, I'll look on the bottom, and if I can't find one on the bottom, I'll look over here, and I'll note that I can always use a corner piece series to get a corner from somewhere here to there. So I'm going to do that now. Move this corner up to this position so that I can put an orange inner circle corner on that position. And to do that, As long as I don't turn the yellow on white faces, I can do setups, and I can then do a corner piece series of rotation in that direction. So that's done. I can undo that setup move. There's my orange circle corner. I actually had a couple of choices there, so it might be expedient for me in a minute to rotate that around and use that orange circle corner, but we'll see. So we've now got a white outer corner. Can I get a white circle corner there? I can. There's one sitting down there. Now to get that one up there, I can do one of these edge piece series just to put the white circle corner there, and I'm just going to stop there and have a look around here. What I'd really like is a green circle corner with a white outer corner. I'm going to look and see if I can find anything like that. There's a green circle corner, there's another one, but I can't find any with a white circle corner. So what that tells me is that I'd like to just place a green circle corner into that position. So I'm going to do that in the same way, and I know these edges are out of whack. That's okay, they'll fix up in a minute, because all I'm going to do now is move corners around. So again, I'm going to turn that up and rotate it like that. And then turn that down. Let's have a look where we are. We've got those still sitting there, we've got that one still sitting there, and I now just need to rotate that anti-clockwise. Now I'm ready to do my reduction. So I can do that, and then I can put these edges back. So I'll do another one of them, and I'll come back here and have a look what had to happen, and I can just I guess I can just see what needs to go. That needs to go there, that will flip and come under here. So that will then return all my edges to where they should be, and I like to do that every time just to keep things in position and in track. I'd next look and see that's a blue-white corner. I could get it to here to a red-blue, which will mean I then need a red circle corner on this position, and there's one here, so I'm now going to move that over to there with a corner piece series. Undo setups, and that's a yellow outer corner, which means I want a yellow inner corner, preferably with a white outer corner. So let's first locate a yellow inner corner if I can. There it is. It's not a white outer one, but that's okay. I can still use it. So I'm just going to set that up, put it over there. Undo my setups. I've now got all my corners in place. I just need to rotate them around. So this had to be anti-clockwise. This one had to be clockwise. So let's deal with those first. In fact, what I can do is just keep track of what I'm doing as I turn. So anti-clockwise here, I'm going left, so I remember left first. Then I'll come around here, and this one will need to be right first. And that's yellow, so this one will need to be right first. So I'm remembering left, right, right, and that's how I'm going to undo all the edges, because they look a bit of a mess at the moment. So firstly, let's reduce. That's done that. So the first one I had to do was another right. I had to go back here and do another right, and here I had to do a left. And you'll see all of those edges are back where they should be. And I can begin again with this blue. Here's a blue circle, there's an orange circle, and I need a red circle up here. And I don't have one on the bottom, so all I'm going to do is, the other option instead of a red circle corner is of course a white outer corner, and I've got one here. So I've got all my corners in position, I just need to rotate them. So let's have a look again. That was blue, so that needed to go right. That's orange, so this could be either. And I did say it was that one, so this is right again. And right start again. So my 3 undoings will be left, left, left. Turn the face, reduce the corners. Sorry, they will be right, right, right. That's the first one. That's the second. And the third. And all is back in order. At that stage there's none on the top face which need doing. That's done. We're actually not far from the end of the circle of the corner reduction here. We've got 1, 2, got 2 on the bottom. We've got this one on the top which has 3 in it. And those 2. So I definitely want to take care of this one with 3 for starters. So just having a look at what would make sense there. Let's get at least one other corner on the bottom up to the top. So I reckon I'll put this one up here, and to do that I can carry out 3 edge piece series. That'll effectively swap those 2. It'll also swap those 2 but leave the edges intact. Now I'm looking at this seeing a yellow outer corner which could go to that yellow inner, which would mean I'd like to have a green inner here if I could get one. So do I have another one down the bottom? I don't. So the next thing I'll look at is what I really want to do is this corner. That's why I'm thinking this one through. Okay, the other option is to turn that around with a white outer and make it go to this white inner. So I think that's what I'll do. And let's see how that travels out. If that's a white outer going to a white inner, then I'd have a yellow outer which would go, let's have a look. Now this is going to get a little trickier because I've got one corner with 3 unmade stuff. So I'm actually probably only going to get 2 done here. So let's rotate this one anti-clockwise. Turn it around, this one clockwise. So far it's left, right, and this one right. How are we looking? And I've just got to take that one left. So I've gone left, right, right, left. Now I can go and do the reduction there. And so to undo it all, now I should say that it's not essential to get all your edges back. The reason I'm doing it is to keep them in place so that once I've reduced the corners all the edges will be in place. So let's have a look how we're going now. Got this one that we've got to deal with an orange outer. Can I put an orange inner? I can get that one up there. That'll be a yellow outer. I could then use that yellow outer if I needed to. And then hopefully, what else have I got? Yeah, that's a little bit trickier. So what if I had a green there? Would that be any more help? I've got the red white and the white red. So that I might actually take care of this orange green and put it put an orange one over here, I reckon. I think that's what I'm going to do. And so to put an orange one there, I'm first going to move that across. And to do that, I'll corner piece series it. And that orange one is there. So I can now do a swap like that. Because I've got these other ones here, technically I could have the red white there if I put the white red up here, and I reckon that probably makes sense. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is firstly rotate this one clockwise, and then I'm going to come around here 180 degrees and just turn this one up with one edge piece series like so. And that was the left. So I can now go and take care of that, and I'm going to undo my setup moves, come back around here, and I did rotate it clockwise, which meant a right turn, so I'm going to do another right turn here to put them back. Alright, how are we travelling? We should now have 4 corners with 4 pieces, if I'm not mistaken. I am mistaken, and it's 3 corners with 3 pieces. So I've got a green, yellow, a yellow orange and an orange green. And what that means is that that green, let's have a think. That orange, in fact, can go to that orange, that yellow will go to that yellow, and the green will go to another green, which will go to that green, which means the fourth piece here must be a piece with green on it. So let's firstly put that up there. Now we've got that green in place, let's go and put these corners. So that's an orange outer, that needs to be turned to the left, that needs to be turned to the right. So let's do that. There's my left turn. There's my right turn. I can now carry out that reduction and undo those setups. So my edges are back, and in fact they have been placed correctly as well. Now if they weren't placed correctly, the edges, what I would need to do is then put 4 corners of the same colour onto the top and turn them as I needed to turn them to replace the edges. But that completes the corner reduction phase of the solve. Now in this final part of the solve, what we need to do is place our reduced corners. All the edges are still in position. What we don't want to be doing is turning the white or the yellow faces, because it does stuff like that. So we only want to turn the other 4 faces, and the corner piece series lends itself really well to this, because if we have the white and yellow at front and back, then the corner piece series involves an upper face turn, involves a right face turn and a left face turn, and all of those are fine, and even if we turn around like that, it's still all good. So what I've decided to do is place all my blue corners first, and to do that I'm just going to find a blue corner on the top, which is blue, red, yellow in this case, and have a think about where it goes. And in this case it belongs here. So no, it doesn't, it belongs there. So I think to myself, how can I get that to go there? Well, what I'm going to do, just as a setup, is that there, and that will now travel down to there if I do a corner piece series like this, which is what I'm going to do. Now I then undo my setup moves, which way? That way, and that blue, red, yellow corner is in position. So note that I'm not trying to orient them at this stage. The next one I look at is the blue, orange, white, which belongs in this position. So this is exactly the same setup. Turn the upper face and then that face. Undo setups. Wrong way again. Okay, so that's got the blue, orange, white and the blue, red, yellow. What else have we got up here? Blue, orange, yellow, and that needs to go into this position here. So what I can do this time is turn that up and have this travel across the diagonal. Then undo the setup move. And the final one is the blue, white, red, which has got to go in here, and I don't want to involve this one. So what I'm thinking this time is, if I turn it round and then just turn that position up, I can do a corner piece series like that. And just for completion, undo that and then put that back. As we have a look on the blue face, we'll see that one of them's in position and oriented, the others are in position but not yet oriented. Now I want to get the yellow ones in, oh, sorry, not the yellow ones, the green ones in their correct position. So let's have a look what we've got. The green, white, orange is positioned already. The green, red, white has to go here. The green, red, yellow to here. So the piece movement this time is like that, but I don't want to use this as a right and left face. So all I'm going to do is turn it and then do that setup, and now move my pieces around. Undo that setup, and we'll see that all of the corners are now in their correct positions. The final part is just to orient them. So I'm going to orient 2 at a time if I can, and let's have a look what we've got. That one needs to go anti-clockwise. In fact, all these 3 on the top need to go anti-clockwise. This one here, that's anti as well. that's anti. Okay, every single one of them's got to go anti-clockwise. So what I'm going to do is simply do any two of them at the moment, because the one at the front will go anti-clockwise, the one at the back will go clockwise. So it'll do this one, not that one. Let's carry it out, and it's going to be a sune followed by its mirror. And as long as I have the white and the yellow at the front or the back, it won't affect any reduced stuff. So you can see it's done that one there. Alright, this one's got to go anti, that's got to go anti. What else have we got? I'm just looking for one that can go clockwise if I've got one, but I don't reckon there's any of them there. So what I'll do is, let's have a look. We're going to turn this one into that back position, and because then we want to have not turning this face, we're just going to turn the whole lot like that as a setup. So then we can unturn that, turn that one back. Let's see how we're going. We've got all of the green ones now oriented, and that'll leave us 3 here which all need to go anti-clockwise. So let's firstly perhaps do these two. Which will then leave that one having to go clockwise and this one having to go anti. Okay, so to get this set up, how do we do this? Well, I can certainly hold them in that position, and all I'll need to do first is get that white face off of the top. I'll just turn the whole lot like that and I'm good to go. Here we go. Undo that slice setup. Have a look around, and after all that, the crazy Saturn cube is solved.